You're seeing my screen?
Yeah.
So I think you already know all these things, but I'll just give you a kind of walkthrough and then go for configuring this part.
Mm-hmm.
So compensation grade, I think you may be knowing this, which provides directions regarding to the pay range whenever you are assigning compensation grade to any of the job profile or any of the package, which means that you are defining a pay range for that position actually. So let's say
Mm-hmm.
Workday developer is there. Workday developer, the pay while you're getting a compensation grade for that Workday developer role, you are defining pay range that compensation range should be between 15 to 20 lakhs. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and whenever you assign this compensation grade to the job profile, that recruiter who is actually hiring a candidate under for Workday developer position will be dealing with the compensation which should be in the range of 15 to 20 lakhs, nothing below that and nothing above that. So we'll be
Mm-hmm.
defining a compensation grade of such kind, which provides information regards the pay range actually. And compensation plan, you may be knowing the salary plan, hourly plan, merit plan, bonus plan, alliance plan. So there are different kind of plans that we have in compensation. So we'll be defining, we'll be creating those plans, and as how we wanted to restrict to this job profile or this supervisor organization or this management level. So we'll be defining those plans to that particular group actually. So
Mm-hmm.
compensation plans are nothing but which provides information of different pay components that we have in the system.
Okay.
And compensation package is nothing but combination of compensation grades and plans. The group of compensation grades and plans are are combined, the term that can be called as the compensation package, which groups both the compensation grades and packages will form a compensation package. And for example, if you see our case also, when our compensation package is being offered, it is a mixture of different items actually. One is, some
Mm-hmm.
organizations may be providing a bonus plan. Some organization may be providing kind of as a stock plan as part of your compensation package, and some organizations may be providing some kind of alliance plan. You'll be getting this kind of alliance as part of your compensation every month based on your job grade and all. So we'll be defining such kind of packages. And package is nothing but it is a group of compensation grade and plans actually.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. I
And
do
there's
have a
one.
question, Amit.
Yeah.
How does it feel to be able to see compensation of the entire company?
Entire company.
Yeah.
Entire company in the sense, you mean to say for any top level, you mean to say CEO, or
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
what
yeah,
is,
yeah. Yes, yes.
you should be having access, I think.
Mm.
You can go to employee profile actually. If you go to employee profile,
No, no, no. I know how to see it, right? I'll see it
uh,
overview under overview pay package. I'm asking
uh,
as a workday being in this field for
uh,
you, right? How
yeah.
does it feel?
We'll definitely get, we'll be getting couple of requests. Though I'm not part of, compensation team, but whenever, I develop a total reward statement or compensation annual review statement, we'll be getting a lot of, for CEO, there has to be a kind of different stocks, and
Yeah.
statement design has to be different for executive leadership team kind of things. I'll be getting a request, and I know that's a kind of normal thing for us whenever we deal with such cases. Will be, but yeah, the compensation statement, whatever we are designing, has to be confidential. And whenever we are working on this kind of projects, we are restricted our screen, to be shown to others. So we'll not
Mhm.
be showing our screen because that deals with complete organization compensation, right? So we'll be
Mhm.
designing a compensation statement based on the levels. Let's say we have 70 to 80, 80 to 90, 90 to 100, and CO. So for each level of a group, the statement has to be populated in different way with the components that they are actually intended to get. So not every group will be having same kind of component. Some executive leadership team may have different stock component called performance stock, and low level team like vice president level will be getting a kind of restricted stock. So like that different groups will be having different components, and accordingly the statement will be populated with different design. So whenever we are dealing with such kind of huge confidential information, so we are informed, or we are instructed that our this confidential information should not be shown to any of the team member. And that's a
Mm-hmm.
kind of we'll be signing some kind of document to them, PD or SSA, I think. Some kind of legal authentication document we'll be signing, and we'll be getting into this project because that deals with a lot of sensitive information, no?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
right.
And we'll be working with compensation team closely. Compensation team will be performing core configurations and all related to all the changes and all, but my responsibility is to report whatever configuration that they are doing, report accurately, and whatever I've reported to be presented in the statement what I'll be designing, so that at the end of the year, when annual review process has been released to employees, they'll be able to access their statement. So seeing what are all the revised salary that they are getting, what are all the additional components that they have got as part of promotion. So all those things they'll be able to see in that compensation review statement. And if there are any there won't be any kind of mismatches, but if there are any kind of issues are there, we'll be supporting those users to correct those but even some organizations will be maintaining some kind of security, even if I'm part of Workday development team. So I'll be not for compensation part, there will be a kind of restriction. So I should be not able to view the compensation of other team member, kind of security restrictions that some organizations will be maintaining. And also kind of specific things like I should be able to view any other employee's compensation, but I should not be able to view my team members' compensation. Such kind of
Yeah,
security things also will be configuring, so that no one from my team will be able to see my compensation, but they'll be able to see, because they are part of Workday team. They need to support users, right? They should be able to view the compensation of other team members, but not our team members.
yeah, yeah. I've heard we have Splunk deployed at our
Hmm.
place.
Okay.
So
Okay.
basically, it tracks wherever you click,
Hmm. Okay.
right? And do
Mm.
you know how to see that report?
You mean to say there is a kind of transaction thing we have. So whatever user logs in, user performs anything in Workday tenant, we can report that. Not about, I
Mm-hmm.
am not aware of Splunk, but so we can create a report, user user tracking, some data source is there. So
Mm-hmm.
when you create a report on that data, under the data source, so whenever user logs into Workday, okay, it will be tracking whatever user will be performing. And it will be giving the information that, let's say, compensation tab is there. So viewed compensation, viewed payslip, generated payslip of different employee, kind of task that report will be returning. So we have a delivered, I think, let me show you that um, data source. We have a data source we can create within Workday only. So Splunk is outside of Workday now.
Mm.
But I think I've created some reports that tracks user transactions in Workday. There will be a kind of audit and governance team in every organization. So their job is to identify all these changes. They will be actually monitoring all the user activities in Workday.
Yeah, yeah.
What happened? They're not coming. We have a data source called user activity. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so we'll be actually creating a report with this user activity data source, and that will give you complete information whatever user actually performing uh, in Workday tenant. So if he's going to any other tab, viewing other employee information, or if he's going to performance tab of other employee, seeing what is the rating that manager has given to that employee, all those activities will be tracked with this data source called user activity. That will give you complete information of that user who has performed that one.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, we'll create this for managers. Managers will be asking, can we get a kind of user activity report for my team members so that I'll be able to see what they're actually doing in Workday. Kind of, we'll be giving this to managers as a kind of confidential information, not letting anyone know. Only managers, will be accessing this report, so they'll be able to see what their team members are doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
On compensation package, and after compensation package, we have eligibility rule. Eligibility rule is nothing but which specifies compensation grade or ranges use compensation grades packages or compensation plans. You will be defining this eligibility rule to which source you need to assign this thing, which group of members you will be assigning this, which organization you will be assigning this. In eligibility rule, you will be specifying eligibility criteria that this group has to be provided with this compensation grade or compensation package or compensation plan. So you'll be defining that eligibility rule that this compensation plan will be applicable for this country, or this plan is applicable for this group or this employee. Kind of eligibility rule that you will be defining, and accordingly that configuration will make changes whenever you're releasing compensation. Only those group members will be getting that particular kind of contribution.
Okay.
So eligibility rule makes that kind of difference, when you're actually making changes. And there are certain steps, that will be seeing in compensation whenever we are actually creating compensation structure. Eligibility rule is nothing but which will provide you a kind of eligibility criteria for the compensation components
Okay.
you define. So whatever the compensation plan, compensation package, compensation grade. So whatever you are defining, there is a kind of eligibility criteria that you will be defining for all this, to which group these components should be applicable. Kind of rule you will be defining, and accordingly that configuration will enable that kind of piece of component, the plan or grade or package will be applicable for those the eligibility criteria group members.
Okay.
And basically we follow some kind of steps actually, the kind of flow whenever we are dealing with the compensation structure. One is the first step, first step comes like define compensation elements. Define compensation elements is nothing but where you'll be defining grades, grade profiles and steps actually. And second thing is you'll be defining compensation plans. Third is you'll be grouping these elements and plans together to make a compensation package. Okay, I can say bundle together. So grades and plans will be bundled together, which makes a compensation package.
Okay.
And fourth step is create eligibility rules. Who has to be, a targeted members for these compensation packages or any of other components. You'll be defining that through eligibility rule. And fifth is you'll assign this eligibility rule to compensation components, like the eligibility rule whatever you have defined, that you will be assigning to compensation components. You'll be defining a eligibility rule, and there you'll be configuring whatever components that you wanted to assign this eligibility assign these components to eligibility rule, that you'll be configuring there. Final step is assign components to the eligibility rule you have created above. So these are the 5 steps you'll typically follow in regular compensation process. You'll the kind of workflow I can say. You have to define a kind of elements, and then plans, and then make a compensation package, and create an eligibility rule. Assign this eligibility rule to the compensation components that you wanted to have as per your organization policy.
Okay.
Okay, this is a kind of flow workflow structure that you'll be following. And yeah, so there are different attributes that I spoke, like let me go into one of the profile and show some of the examples. So here you see compensation package. Okay, compensation package is nothing but which is a mixture of grades and plans actually. So you'll be creating a compensation package and for a specific group of employees, and you'll be assigning that to a kind of a different group. Here you see we've created a non-management compensation package which is assigned to eligibility rule. There is a job family that has been created. Yesterday we have seen, right? We've seen the job family, job profile, job family group and all. So this compensation package has been assigned to this job family, so that whatever components that are defined at this compensation package level will be applicable for this job family group, where we have defined a kind of eligibility rules. So if you come down, you'll see a little more information about compensation grade, which are part of this package, and compensation plan, which are part of this package. So compensation plans are this one. So merit plan, information technology, and so they have defined a kind of eligibility rule for whatever merit plans that is there for information technology should be applicable for the organization called information technology. And for finance administration, there is an organization called finance administration. So all these plans are configured to become a kind of eligible for all this organization through eligibility rules that we have defined. That's how your compensation structure is built in Workday, where you'll be assigning compensation component based on the eligibility rules, and based on the your organization would have defined some kind of the policy that this job family has to have this compensation component. For that component, you will be defining eligibility rule for that particular job family. That's how you typically create a compensation package groups and grades and grade profiles. So you see here we have a complete compensation package which is tied up with the grades and plans, which make which is a mixture of both, that has made a compensation package. That's how you typically. So you're part of any kind of configuration team, or just you're supporting a comp team? Okay,
Right.
so that only. So all the
So more
configurations,
around
functional people will be actually taking care of all the configurations, and so you'll be performing any kind of configurations, or you'll be dealing with supporting those configurations or enhancing them.
primarily enhancement, right?
Oh,
And then of course little bit support as well.
okay, okay. So that's how in regular compensation, probably you'll be playing around with all the assigned compensation plans, packages to the employees. If you go to any of the plan, general salary plan, which is actually assigned as a compensation plan. So you can create your own plan that you wanted to have, and assigned to any of the employees. So you see here, general salary plan has been created and it has been assigned to all employees, organization, all employees. It has been assigned, and the
Mm,
compensation element would be a kind of base pay. When you check this apply FTE percentage, it prorates actually. So based on the number of working hours that employee is working, based on that hours, this FTE percentage will be tracked. So if 50 percentage is 100%, the compensation that you have defined for hourly employees will be whatever you have defined. If it is not 100%, if it is 50%, that will be prorated actually. So the checkbox that you'll be checking here, based on number of working hours, the compensation will be offered to that employee. So that's the reason why you typically select apply FTE percentage. FTE is
mm,
nothing but it calculates number of working hours.
mm,
And similarly, if you go to any of merit plan, you will also see bonus plan, which you are actually looking for. Okay, so if you create any kind of plan that is related to merit, so you'll be seeing all this process here. So you'll be
mm,
defining eligibility rule, and if employee has completed a kind of 3 months from high date, that employee should be eligible to get that merit plan, should be able to get that merit amount. And so we'll be calculating all the time of absence details and all. And so compensation matrix is nothing but which targets your compensation to that employee. Basically, most of the customers will be not going with this compensation matrix, but they'll be defining a plan eligibility rules. So kind
mm,
of restrictions where if employee has completed this time, then this employee should be applicable for the merit plan. Kind of all the configurations you'll be making, you'll be providing currency and frequency. Is generally every organization will be having annual merit process yearly, and you'll be specifying yearly annual process. But if you are actually going for half yearly, you can also do that one. And yeah, merit plan profiles. So you'll be specifying kind of targets here, which will not be applicable for all the employees. You can say target 2%, which will be for type 3 cost of living locations. And so this depends upon your actual compensation component that you have defined for your employees, and accordingly you'll be configuring this. So not everyone has to go with this, but yeah, so it's completely depends upon your compensation policy that you have in your organization. So for we'll be creating a lot of merit plans, and we'll be next year, we'll be making them inactive, and we'll be or editing that and making it changes and all. So all those things you'll be seeing here as part of merit plan events actually. So you'll be going here and you'll be seeing when it has been successfully completed, and if there are any kind of cancellations that you need to perform for existing compensation component, you can perform those cancellations by getting into plan events and canceling that event particularly, so that employee will be no longer part of that compensation event. So this will happen very rarely, until unless there are any errors that are happened during this compensation event process. So you'll be editing that and you'll be canceling that. So that's about merit plan, one of the one of the compensation plan that we have. And we have also a kind of bonus plan. Bonus plan is nothing but a kind of one-time plan that will be offered to employee. So there will be a kind of different bonus types also. So this is actually a kind of plan type as bonus, which is offered 10% on employee compensation every year actually. So every year, as part of we call it as a variable pay, and that will be paid. But some organizations will, apart from this bonus, so some organizations will be having different the special bonus plans. Like recently we got a kind of COVID, right? COVID alliance, kind of COVID bonus plan, which will give a kind of hardship alliance, some amount of contribution from employer, so that you will be giving, and some kind of fitness reimbursement kind of bonus plan you'll be giving as part of your grade. A kind of you're allowed to have a kind of fitness reimbursement, a bonus plan that employer will be providing you. So you can create a lot of benefit plans, bonus plans actually. So bonus plan you'll be actually creating, and you'll be configuring that in Workday as a kind of some kind of one-time plan. So you can configure all those things, and as similarly we have seen for other areas, you can configure that to specific eligibility rule. And also you can if you wanted to define any kind of specific time period for hire date, you can also do that one. And if you wanted to go with the proration rate, if you wanted to perform a kind of proration rate for each of the bonus plan or one-time plan, you can there is a kind of kind of configuration called compound proration rate, which will actually prorate your compensation based on your height rate. Let's say for yearly you have defined that bonus plan has to be 10% or 15% of the salary, but employee has joined in the middle of the year, and that has to calculate based on that hire date to the time period you have defined for completing bonus period. So that will calculate number of months or number of hours that employee has worked, and accordingly the specific bonus will be offered to the employee during review process.
Mm-hmm.
That you will be specifying. And
But how can you show that how the prorated?
so we'll be creating all those things whenever
Okay.
you're creating a compensation plan. There is a checkbox called FT percentage or prorate checkbox will be there. We'll be checking the checkbox, and that
Oh, okay.
calculates, enabling that checkbox. We'll be calculating that process. And so these are something that I wanted to show before I create these things. Stock plan. So not every group of people will be getting a stock defined. It depends upon the grade, job grade that employee is eligible for. Will be defining that specific the stock plan for a specific group. Here you see only if any IT sales and marketing organizations are eligible to get this stock plan actually. So not every employee will be getting a stock plan, but they'll be based on their job grade, management level, and their organization. They'll be entitled to get that specific. You can see here. It is a kind of a rule that we'll be creating. So we'll be
Mm-hmm.
specifying organizations, and we'll be giving all those supervisor organization who will be part of that a stock plan, who will be getting all those stocks actually.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So all these things you're seeing, we'll be creating all these things. Whatever you're seeing here, we'll be creating all these things.
Okay.
Okay, so I think we have enough few minutes. Not sure if I start, we'll be able to complete this complete activity. So we'll create eligibility rule for today, and probably we'll continue with other packages and all in our tomorrow session. Normally if we start, I think this is huge activity. We don't want to break this one, so we'll start with the eligibility rule as a compensation administrator, as part of compensation team. So you'll create some compensation rules where you'll be defining that this compensation will be eligible for this group of members, that kind of eligibility rules that you will be creating. So we'll be creating some compensation rules now, and we'll see to proceed with the other compensation configurations in our tomorrow's session. So the task to create compensation eligibility rule is create compensation eligibility. So you'll be actually defining some kind of description. So let's say you wanted to restrict this to specific organizations above vice president, whatever the eligibility rule that you are defining. If you wanted to specify to specific the supervisory organization or specific job level team members, you'll be specifying just to identify easily whenever you are actually configuring this to be components. Okay, so now I'll be giving kind of the supervisor organization name. I'll be giving comp eligibility rule organization. Okay, so I'm creating one eligibility rule for the organization who is managing as a director for a tax team actually. Okay, so just to identify easily, but naming convention, probably according to your the organization naming convention standards, you can follow. So just to identify easily, I've created an eligibility rule for the organization who is managing as a director tax. I've just given that kind of name here. Okay, and if you go to actual fields, so you can give here, you'll be actually selecting those organizations actually. So whatever organization that you wanted to have, there will be a lot of screens that will be going for the same kind of configurations. Just you need to follow the steps on each screen that we are actually doing. So I've selected this one where I'll be actually selecting the actual organizations that I wanted to have. So I've created one of the organization. So where this guy Melissa is actually holding this organization, whose job profile is something related to taxation indirectly. So there's a reason why, just to identify whatever eligibility rule that I'm creating, I've defined. So for this organization, I'm actually creating this eligibility rule, which will be applicable for this organization, where all these are the members of this organization. Okay, so I'll be specifying this organization here. So I've already specified. So now once you define this eligibility rule, you can submit this one just to have your eligibility rule created. I'll be just saving it somewhere. So now I have eligibility rule created. Okay, so now if I wanted to add anything or create one more eligibility rule based on the managers. Okay, so now we have created based on the organizations. Now let's say if I wanted to assign based on the management levels, like let's say executive team or in a CEO of the company or executive vice president of the company, the same eligibility rule, how do you create? So same task, create compensation eligibility rule. Okay, comp eligibility rule for manager and above management level. So kind of eligibility rule that you have named it for all the managers and above management levels, you are creating this one. And in the field of eligibility rule, you'll be selecting that management level. So you have selected management level, and there you will be selecting what all the management level should be applicable for this eligibility rule. And I can see board of directors, and CEO of the company, vice president, director, and manager, because we have selected the kind of manager and above. So we'll be selecting manager also. So manager will be part of this eligibility rule, where now we'll be assigning compensation. Okay. So now these are all the groups that we have who will be eligible for the rule that we are creating. If we are assigning to this to any kind of package or any kind of compensation plan, so these are the groups who will be actually eligible for that particular compensation plan or compensation package. Okay, so that's how typically define. Or if you wanted to also restrict to only US for all these management level people who actually belongs to only US should be applicable for this kind of eligibility rules. What you will do, to the same condition, you'll add one more row. You'll add one more row, and you'll just give a country. Here you'll be specifying if it is if you wanted to restrict to any specific country like US and all. So here, once you define the country, people of this management level, people who belongs to board of directors team and the CEO, vice president, and director and manager of these roles, who belongs to US, should be applicable for this kind of eligibility rule that you are defining actually. Okay, I'll save this. So that when we are actually bundling everything together, we'll be using this compensation eligibility rules. And now we have eligibility rule that we have created, where we have restricted some of the things for specific group of people in US or specific organization. Now let's define a kind of grade, actually compensation grade. They are just purely configuration. There is no logic or there is no kind of an expression that we are writing. Completely a kind of configurations. Okay, so if you wanted to have any particular number of segments that you wanted to populate in compensation grade, you can give. By default, it will be populating 4 segments. Like let's say 15 to 20 lakhs is a kind of grade that you are planning. Okay, what is a lower range and what is a mid range? What is the top range that you wanted to specify? In that range, you can give such kind of segments that you wanted to populate. And also, if you wanted, yesterday I was saying you that whenever you're creating compensation grade, if you check the checkbox called grade profiles, that will be showing grade profiles when you get into compensation grade screen actually. is how your compensation grade um, grade skin will be populating once you submit that one. So if you once you have a compensation grade that is created, and in future, and if you wanted to inactivate that one, you can check this checkbox so that that will get inactivated. And before you do inactivate, whatever grade that you've already triggered for a group of team members, you need to actually remove that one and make this active, make this inactive actually.
I mean, this
Yeah,
task.
these are actually straightforward. The whatever eligibility rule that we have created is just assigning a specific group of members or
Yeah.
organizations to whom you wanted to restrict. Once you have all the configurations, we'll be assigning this a compensation package where you'll be calling all those things, and you'll be assigning to different packages actually. So single
Mm-hmm.
package, so that whatever you're creating compensation grade eligibility rules will be applicable for those group of members.
Yeah.
If you feel that this is loading, probably we can stop it here. If you feel that it is giving too much information for you, probably we can stop it, and we can continue in our next session if you're
Yeah.
feeling
Yeah.
some
I
kind
think.
of load.
Yeah. 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 I think, yeah, this is, we should stop now. I think this is good.
Okay. Yeah, fine then. So what we'll do is we have created two eligibility rules now. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
what we'll do in our upcoming session is we'll create a compensation grade. We'll create a one compensation plan, either fuel plan, fuel allowance plan, or any of specific allowance plan. And once we have all the components ready, we'll be creating one compensation package where whatever the eligibility rules that we have created will be applicable for those team members actually.
Okay.
So just make a note that we have created two eligibility rules, and we'll be actually proceeding with our compensation grades, plans, and packages. And finally, we'll bundle everything together and make it as a kind of a compensation whole compensation package, which can be assigned to employee.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So the instance I have in your instance, is it same or different?
I don't know what instance you have. Let me see. So I have
Let
a
me
tenant
see.
called iadmin dpt2 is tenant name I have. So you're having the same name.
Let me just see. Mm, give me a sec. Since I had no activity, it logged me out. Just, okay.
Oh, okay. I think that's a different tenant, I believe. But yeah, I think you can do the same steps actually. So whatever
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
task that I'm doing, I think though tenant is same, but the configurations are same, right? You'll be having the same options, whatever I'm getting now. These are actually delivered things. We are not actually creating a kind of custom configurations and all. So all these are delivered tasks that is provided by Workday. You should be seeing the same task even in your tenant as well.
Yeah.
So for now,
And
what you can do is you can just try to create eligibility rule that we have discussed.
whether I have a admin access or what,
If you go to your this thing profile,
I'm there. Yeah, I'm on the profile.
if you go to actions,
Mm-hmm. Assign roles.
you go to security profile. Okay,
Uh,
view security groups. Okay, view security groups are there. If you click on the view security group, you'll be seeing what are all the security that is assigned for you. And if you wanted to know whether you have provided with the compensation administrator access, you can just filter with security
yeah,
group.
I see that comp admin. I see.
So you see here compensation. Yeah.
I don't have sysadmin, I think, but I have comp admin.
So you'll be seeing compensation administrator. If
Yeah.
it is not there, you can check this one. So that will be filtered, showing that what all the access you have related to compensation. Okay. So you are assigned with unconstrained security group. Unconstrained is nothing but which provides unlimited access. If you are provided with the constrained group, which provides limited access.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, and if you wanted to assign any kind of the security groups that you don't have, similarly, as how we have gone,
Mm-hmm.
there is a task called assign user-based security groups. In the same security profile, if you go, if you wanted to assign any kind of security administrator, I'm not sure whether they have provided access to assign security administrator, but yeah, so you are allowed to assign any kind of security group. Assign user-based security group is there. If you click on this one, you can assign, you're saying system administrator, which is nothing but a security administrator.
Mm-hmm. It's already assigned.
Okay, so this is the kind of delivered security administrator security that is provided by Workday.
Okay.
If this is assigned to you, you can make any kind of security changes in Workday.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Got it.
Okay. Good, then we'll catch up again tomorrow and just try to create the compensation. So just go to compensation eligibility rule task. Just assign this to one of the organization that you are aware of,
Mm-hmm.
and probably you can pick any of the existing organization, or if you know how to create organization, just create that organization and pick that organization in that eligibility rule. And one more thing, just select the management levels that we have, which is
Yeah.
manager and above. Okay, from
Okay.
manager, whatever you see the upper level management level, pick those.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'll do that.
So with that, I think we should be ready with eligibility rules. Then whatever we'll be creating grades packages and all. We'll be assigning that eligibility rules to those packages in our tomorrow session.